Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Whisper to Roar Show. I am your host, Kym Glass. I have a wonderful lineup today to share with you some incredible connections that I have met along the journey of my networking. I've been networking for over 30 years, actually. Started out in my neighborhood, then went into the corporate space, and then as an entrepreneur. And the Whisper to Roar Show, we help others take their business and voice from whisper to roar. And what I'd love to share with you, again, are all the connections that I have made along the journey, and also provide you resources, tools, and support to help you while you're out there networking. So let's get right into it. We have an awesome show today. I am so excited that you have chosen to join us. You know, they say over 85% of your success is all about showing up. And there is no better way that I know than to show up is in your networking. And so I'm excited to bring these ladies on to share their journey. We're going to be talking today about invisible. Have you ever felt invisible while you're out networking? Is it because you don't know anyone there? Is it because you're not sure how to talk about your business? Or is it something else? Are you lacking confidence? What is that thing that makes you feel invisible? And today, without further ado, I want to introduce to you our amazing guests that are going to help shine the spotlight on how you can move from invisible to invincible when you're out networking. So here we go. Lynda Sunshine West, come on down and join us. Kristy Boyd Johnson and Mischelle O'Neill. Thank you all so much for being with us today on our show. And you know, it goes all the way back to networking. And this is the thing that I love about networking, is that one person can introduce you to another person, to another referral, to another collaboration. And along that journey, you start building a connected community. So flashback about 5 years ago, I had the awesome opportunity to meet Lynda Sunshine West in no other place than Las Vegas. Along that journey, I'm doing a little bit more into my business. She is also doing different things than when I first met her, but it's been such a joy and a pleasure to watch her journey unfold, see where she's out there networking. And then I met Kristy and Mischelle as a result of that connection from over 5 years. So don't you just love that, and love what happens when you connect together? So I'm going to bring everybody in on our gallery view so that you can all see each other. And we're just going to have a conversation today about invisible. Wow, isn't that just a messy kind of feeling? And when you get on the other side of it, don't you just love to share that with people? So we're going to start off with Lynda. I know a little bit about your story, but take us back to how did you feel when you were out networking? Like, take us back to that invisible moment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. First of all, thanks, Kym, for doing this. Truly appreciate you and everything you do to help people to get their voices out into the world. And that's what this is all about. Well, as far as networking goes, oh my gosh, I used to be terrified. Sometimes I would drive to a networking event, sit in my car, not go inside, and then go back home. Like, I would wait till the event was over and go, oh, it's over, I'd better go home. So I wouldn't even go inside. That's how invisible I was at some points. And I remember my very, very first networking event. There were about 50 people there. It was a grand opening. Our first networking event, 50 people. And I walked in, I literally went to the back of the room as far back as I could be from anybody, and sat there and stayed on my phone. I didn't talk to anybody because I was so scared to talk to people. And there everybody went around the room and introduced themselves, their 30-second pitch. And I heard this one lady as she was speaking, I was like, I got to connect with that lady because we can do something together. Like I just had this feeling, right? So after it was done, I got the courage. I stood up and I ran over to her and I said, hey, I heard you say that you do, XYZ and I do this. We should really connect with each other. And she looked at me and she goes, why? Scared me out of my boots. I swear, she traumatized me from networking events. And after that, I was even more scared to approach. I was already scared in the first place, but that just made me more scared to approach people. But what I found is not everybody was like that. Not everybody had that same kind of reaction. So for me, that invisibility, I probably showed up as an invisible type of person from my own perspective. Here's the thing is I felt invisible, but I wasn't invisible from the outside eyes of others. So I showed up in invisibility probably a good 2 or 3 years, but like you said, I kept showing up. And that was what made it so that I finally got comfortable. Like by the time I met Kristy at an in-person networking event, we're both in San Diego, by that time, like I was over that fear of meeting new people and I was able to meet Kristy and she never saw me as that invisible person. So it's kind of interesting as we go through life and we grow ourselves and we meet people along the way, they don't realize that we used to be a different way. Like you're who I met the day that I met you. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, my invisibility, oh man, I'm so glad I am on the other side of that because that did not feel good at all.
And that's such a great point, Lynda. A lot of times that feeling that we have holds us back. But I applaud you because even though you felt that, you took action. And I know you and I speak a lot about fear. And how you move through that fear is how you have the courage to push forward, even though you feel it. And so I think that is so powerful because what you found by taking action and approaching people is that they didn't see you as invisible. I hate when that kind of self-talk tries to take us out. But kudos to you for pressing on and being on the other side of that. And so, Mischelle, would you share with us, what was your path on feeling invisible and how did that affect you when you're networking and trying to share your business?
I am so honored to be here today, Kym. So thank you for allowing me to be on this broadcast with you. One of the things that stood out to me is a lot of times we don't really realize how much our story, our past, our patterns from the past really affect, how we move forward into our networking and stuff. And so for me, it was not feeling that I was wanted, not feeling that I had any value, any needed, that when I walked into these spaces of networking is not feeling like I was good enough or that I had enough or anybody really cared about me and feeling that I had to prove myself and prove that I was worthy to be here among all these great people, or at least people that I perceived as better than me, being in that space. And so not taking that voice that you had, not feeling that even what I had to say was good enough to be in the room or sit at the table. And so that really hindered me and moving forward, even in my business. And what I'd like to really impress is it's not something that magically goes away or all of a sudden everything is great, that the world is great. It's a constant battle that we actually fight each and every day. And the smallest thing can trigger that old memory, can trigger that old pattern, because that's the problem with pattern is the thing that one small thing can knock you back into that habit. It's kind of like an addict. When you drink too much or you smoke too much or whatever, is that one small thing can throw you back into doing that old thing again. And so it's a constant battle that we have to be willing to pull ourselves out. So it's also looking at the good things and reminding ourselves and I'd like to say preaching to ourselves every day of the good things. Look, you did this at the last event. You met this person And so when I go into a networking event, it's not about meeting all these people here. It's about meeting just 5 people. I set that for myself, 5 people in this event that I want to have a real conversation with, that I want to get to know them, that I walk in curious about them. So then I take the onus off of myself. It's not about me, but it's about what I'm going to learn about them and how I can impart into their life, if at all, or just the great thing that I learn about them and somebody new in my sphere of life.
Wow, that is so powerful, Mischelle, and so true. You know, we talk about generational patterns. I actually did a TEDx about 2 years ago, and it was all about generational patterns that follow us. You know, it either stays in that one area or it follows us in different areas in our life. And I love what you shared about how you felt that invisibility and what you felt a little bit on the other side, because when we can get, and I found this as well, when we can get out of ourselves from how we're, and we can reach out and provide value, and oftentimes it's just curiosity to learn about someone else, we can start shifting that feeling from ourselves. And while we're helping someone else, we're helping ourselves in return. And so thank you so much for sharing that. I love how you put that so clearly, and the power that comes from shifting just one thing different when you're out there networking, getting the focus off of you and reaching out to someone else. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then Kristy, will you share with us a little bit about your journey of invisibility and maybe how that's impacted you when you're out there networking?
Thank you so much, Kym. Also, I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you. I have been an invisible since childhood. I was born into a very abusive home, and all I was ever told was that I was too stupid and worthless to be even acknowledged. So I grew up as an invisible person. For me, though, what happened to start shifting me was that I became a teacher. And as a teacher, you're not invisible. You are standing in front of a lot of little faces looking up at you to lead them. And it was all about, for me, it was easier to be all about them, because it didn't have anything to do with me. It was all about them and their learning and everything. And taught for a while, and then I started deciding that I didn't want to be invisible anymore. And so I started forcing myself to do things that went against everything in me screaming to stay home and hide. So I took Toastmasters and learned how to speak on a stage. And I did improv classes to learn to be more comfortable with the improvisational kind of things. When something comes toward you that might be unexpected, to be able to handle it with some grace and not just be like a stuttering fool. And so now when I go to networking meetings, I have that more confidence. Although anytime that feeling raises its head that I'm not good enough, that, oh, what am I thinking? You know, I'm not worth anything. I just go against it. That's my policy. If it was programmed into me as a child, I go against it because it's wrong and it didn't help me in my life in any way. And now my purpose has always kind of been to serve. I love helping people in every way. So for me, it's been a shift of that I'm serving and I'm also worthy, that I'm very good at what I do and I deserve also to be acknowledged for that. And that's been very difficult for me to get to that place. But Lynda has been a wonderful help in that. We've talked a lot and become friends over the years from our first networking meeting where we met. And so that's where we are.
That is so fantastic. And I love what you said about flipping that script. You know, we often hear about self-leadership or taking the lead, or whether anybody's following us. And And sometimes we're in our own program, right? Sometimes our businesses and how we help other people is kind of part of who we are and how we help other people because of our own journey. And I know for me, like, just like what you said, flipping that script, like when I was so fearful in a situation, I just wanted to do the exact opposite. And the more that I did that, the more that I was able to reprogram my mind to see the things that I wanted to see, the positivity, connecting with other people, helping other people, and working on that consistently. And so thank you so much for sharing that. And what I also find interesting too, as I'm meeting people that I network with, there's something, so today we're talking about being invisible. But what I'd also like to know from you, what was the switch, like maybe not your age per se, but what was the thing that switched for you where you no longer felt invisible, but you became invincible and you were able to recognize that switch for you? So Lynda, will you share with us, like maybe, you know, was there a world event? Was there a life event? Was it, you know, were you out there networking or speaking? Like, what was that thing that you can put your finger on that was a shift for you to become invincible?
I remember the exact moment, like it was yesterday. I mean, or like it was just today. I was on my entrepreneurial journey. So I was in the corporate world for 36 years. I had had 49 jobs. And when I decided to leave corporate, I was jumping into this entrepreneurship. I had no idea what to do, how to make any money, who I would serve, what I would sell. I had zero ideas at all. So I just started attending all these different workshops because I wanted to learn, like, how do I run a business? I was attending a marketing workshop, and it was probably about maybe a year into my entrepreneurial journey. I was 51 when I started. So you're never too late to start something new. It wasn't until I was 51. And I was attending this workshop, and I was really scared to be around people and to talk in front of people because I grew up with the beliefs, like Kristy said, you know, I was stupid, I'm ignorant. And, you know, Mischelle has the same sort of story. Kym, you have the same sort of story, you know, all these things that people told us when we were young that we chose to believe those about ourselves. And I believed about myself that I was stupid and ignorant, and people only liked me because they felt sorry for me. These were my beliefs. Well, I was attending this workshop, and I decided that day that I was going to speak. I was going to say something out loud. Now, I had never done this in my life because I was terrified of what people would think of me. So when the lady asked a question, I raised my hand and I stood up. My palms were sweaty. My forehead was sweaty. My stomach was tossing and turning, but I did it. I took the step. And then I said something, whatever I said, and I sat down and I was just shaking like crazy. And the two women sitting next to me said, "That was brilliant. Will you repeat it? I want to write it down." It was in that exact moment that I said to myself, and I, like, you know how you can like yell in your head? I was yelling in my head, "You have value. From this moment forward, you will share your voice every opportunity you get." And I have been doing it ever since that day. And I was 50, probably right around 52 years old by the time that came up. And you can't stop me now because I am on that freight train and I feel invincible in a way. The book title, Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore. This was my journey of going from feeling invisible to feeling and stepping into that invincibility. It doesn't mean I'm the strongest, the smartest, or anything. It just means in my own world, I am invincible. You can't stop me because I'm standing up for myself. I'm sharing my own voice every opportunity I get. Ooh, I get chills every time I remember that moment because it was so pivotal to the change of my entire life.
So incredible. And it goes back to that one thing where we say it often: one person can change your life, one event can change your life, one nugget of information, whether it's on a podcast, a radio show, a TV show, hearing a speaker, so powerful because It's a power of showing up when you're seeking that thing that's seeking you. And I love hearing that story. I've heard it a couple times from you, Lynda. I get chills all over again because I know how that can happen. And so I thank you so much for sharing that. And Kristy, how about you? Like, what was the light bulb moment, or what was that thing that happened to you that shifted you totally from being invincible and being the person that you are today in your business?
Ironically, I think it was the very first day that I went to a Toastmasters meeting, which it seems weird for a teacher who stands in front of a large group of people every single day to say that, but it's a completely different experience. And I did the same thing Lynda did, although at that time I didn't know her. They do something called table topics, which is just an impromptu 1-minute speech. And they asked me if I wished to do it because it was my virgin visit, as you might say. And I said, sure. And I stood up and I did it. And they laughed. And then I don't even know. I can't even tell you how the things started coming out of my mouth, but they laughed and they enjoyed it. And people started coming up to me and saying, wow, that was amazing. You know, you have a great point of view. And I'm thinking to myself, what? What's happening? So that was when I realized I do have a voice, and my voice is important too. And, you know, when being a kind and caring person, you can have a voice. You don't have to be silent. And so that was for me what happened. And I went on to win speech contests so yeah, so it happens.
What a transformation, right? From being invisible to invincible, and then winning contests using your voice. So thank you so much for sharing that, Kristy. I just so appreciate, you know, how you open up, and it is a little bit different, I can imagine, from, you know, teaching children to now you're on a whole different playing field with your peers, and that's a little bit of a difference in, you know, the judgment, or, you know, all those feelings that we've mentioned earlier. And then Mischelle, share with us, you know, where was that switch for you when you went and you moved from feeling invisible to becoming invincible and your powerful self?
Wow. It's kind of weird. I'm the opposite. Where everyone else came out, I was always out. I was a performer. I performed in plays. I performed in the military. I was a singer. I was in plays. So I had always been on stage, from actually remembering the first time I sung in public was at 6. I was on stage at 9. So I've always been on stage, but my drive to be on stage was to be seen, to matter, to have worth. I figured if I was in front of everybody and everybody loves a star, if everybody loved me, then I had worth. And come to find out, there was no worth there. I felt that the platitudes that people gave me, oh, that's great, that it meant absolutely nothing because it was not sincere. My big turning point was actually a car accident. I was driving my car and a car turned right in front of me, going 50 miles an hour. I hit them. I saw their car go up in the air. I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I just screamed, Jesus. And just that moment of realizing everything that really mattered, because when your life flashes before you, you start seeing the things that really matter to you. And I realized that it was the relationships. At the end of the day, it didn't matter, you know, the singing, the accolades, none of that mattered if the people that weren't most important to you weren't around you. So I always say, at the end of the day, who's going to be around your deathbed? And so I started really looking at the relationships that were in my life, the ones that were feeding me and the ones that were sucking me dry. And so that's how I started formulating what was important to me. And that's when I started becoming invisible, even on the stage. It wasn't about the whole crowd loving me. It was about that one person that would come up to me and, hey, that really touched my life. I needed to hear that. That song made me feel alive again. It was going into, I hate saying old folks homes, but homes where there were elderly, and singing a song and seeing their face light up and knowing that one song brought back a memory that they had forgotten at some time in their life. So it was those things that were my turning point, is seeing that I had value, and my value was in how I built up and lifted other people's lives, how I made a difference in someone else's life, not how they made a difference in my life.
Wow, so powerful. And thank you, Mischelle, for sharing. And what I love about your story too is that we're all on the same similar journey, but we're at different stops along the way. I say that often when we're out networking, and sometimes, just like your story, it wasn't the same progression. You went so far, and then something happened that flipped you into the invisible, and really helped you understand more about relationships and a different level of relationships, I would say. And so I love that, because that's your story and that's your journey. And, our differences are also what helps other people along our journeys as well. And so I thank you so much for sharing that.
Kym, I want to, if I'd like to comment on that.
Yes.
And so here's the thing about invisibility, and this is what I discovered. When this title came to me, "Invisible No More, Invincible Forevermore," this was sent to me, and from God. I believe it was sent to me from God. And here's the thing: is, like Mischelle, I was a performer as well, but I still felt invisible. And here's the difference, because invisible, when we think about this, it's what the person is feeling themselves about themselves. It's not about what they're doing, what they're like. Outwardly, I could look like this gregarious person, but inside I could be being eaten up inside, that like I'm only out there because of whatever the reason is. But the invisibility, that portion of being able to move from invisible to invincible, in my opinion, is that ability to slough off that invisibility that you feel inside. Because one of the persons in the book, I mean, she's sold over $2.5 billion worth of products, has been on TV all over the world, and she still has those moments of invisibility. So how can you be so seen but still be invisible? It's because it's from inside, it's within. So I just wanted to address that, because anybody who's listening saying, she did this and she did that and all these things, but it doesn't matter what you're seeing on the outside. It's what each person individually is feeling on the inside. And that's where the invisibility from this book really comes from.
So true. Thank you for sharing that, Lynda, because it is, we want to be seen and heard and understood when we're out there networking. And that invisibility is real with people. And even like you said, if you feel like you've overcome fear or you've overcome certain things, I know how it feels when you come face to face with that feeling again, and it's no longer in the past, it's staring you back in the face. And it's a different perspective, but it also puts you right back in that same place. And I think the powerful thing about that is you can observe it. You can observe that feeling, get connected with why am I feeling that again, as opposed to in the past when we were so attached to it. So I know that is how I've been able to help a lot of clients, that they have a great story, they have a great product or a great service, but those things hold them back, because when they get out there and you know how it is, when you're pushing against that feeling, you're coming head to head with it again. And what I've learned is, if you can observe it as opposed to being attached to it, you can also shift that feeling and proceed going forward. So thank you for sharing that, Lynda. Powerful, powerful, powerful information that if we can remember it, right? That's the key. When we can remember those tools that we have in our toolbox when we're out there networking, it will definitely shift things for us. And so I'm loving this conversation. But what I want to switch to for just a couple of minutes is, so you've shared a little bit about your story. We feel very connected with who you are. But what I want you to spend maybe the next 3 minutes, I'm going to go around. I'd like for each of you to share, what is your business today? And how are you helping other people? What is that one thing that you're looking for in your business? So, when we think about networking, think about putting yourself out there. Maybe you're the think of yourself as the speaker here today. I want you to really dig deep in, share with us, what is your business? How do you help other people in your business? And what is one thing that you're looking for? So Mischelle, we'll start you off here and would love for you to share with us.
Oh, honored again. Kym, when you're the strong one and the one that dependable one that everybody turns to, everyone thinks that you have it all together. Asking for help or even admitting that you need help, it can feel incredibly difficult. And so my clients have, they go along ignoring their passion and their unfulfilled purpose. And it leaves my clients, they're actually exhausted, overwhelmed, and frustrated with the direction that their lives are taking. So after our working together, my clients, they have hope again and a clear direction, which is so important to me, and a roadmap to success. And they're mastering their mess, they're conquering their chaos, and they're taking purposeful action. And they're happy, they're inspired, they're motivated to move forward and actually in a meaningful way, a way that they feel that they have purpose in their life. And watching them reclaim their confidence and rediscover their value and reigniting their passion for living is simply, it's an amazing feeling that I get. And it affirms that I'm walking to be doing and in my purpose for life and why I'm put here. So it's like a win-win all the way around. And that's what I do with my clients. And that's why I'm here.
Fantastic. And so what is that one thing that you're looking for today in your business? Are you looking to purchase something, or are you looking for a specific client? Are you looking to host an event? What is that one you may be looking for that we may know a connection for you, or someone may have a referral for you?
I am looking for that woman that strong one. I'm looking for her so I can help her move forward. It's all about reaching one, teach one. I know you've all heard that, but just helping each person, because I know it's that 6 degrees of separation. If I help her, she can help others and help others. So it's just making those connections to help each person move forward so that they can make a difference in their lives and in the difference in other lives. So that's what's important to me, is having that one person that I can reach.
Fantastic. And Mischelle, can you share with us your website, or how can our listeners get in touch with you with your email?
It is masteringyourmonday.com, about mastering your life one Monday at a time. And so again, I'm with Lynda. I'm an action taker. It's about taking purposeful action. And they can find me anywhere on social media at MischelleO'Neal.com. It's MISCHELLE, O'Neal, ONEAL, .com. So you can find me there at either one of those. Just hit connect and we'll be connected.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mischelle. And Kristy, can you share with us about your business?
Yes, my business is, I've been a ghostwriter, but I've shifted into more developmental editing, which means that when an author comes to me with a book, I help them develop that book into something that is really good. And I prefer that because for me, I think it's very important to empower people to find their own voice. And if they have the idea to write a book, they have something they need to share with the world. And I want to help them bring that dream to life. My website is turtleseabooks.com. And we also will help people with developing and publishing all kinds of supplemental materials. So for example, if you're doing workshops, we can do content and create all kinds of fun things like workbooks and journals and giveaways and so on and so on and so forth. The one thing I think I'm looking for is what I really, really have dreamed about doing is having a writer's retreat where the writers, it's kind of a balance retreat, not just going somewhere beautiful and relaxing like any vacation, but also having that, feeding your writer's soul and learning something that will really help you and giving them time and space to write, with having myself and my partner there to give concrete, practical, real life support in moving them forward in their projects. So that's what my dream is, which has been on hold for the last year, but that was out of my control. So,
fantastic.
Anybody who wants to reach me can reach me at Kristy, Kristy, at turtleseabooks.com or on social media. Yes.
Awesome, Kristy. Thank you so much. And Lynda, can you share with us about how you are helping? I know you're all about women action takers, but what else is going on with you that you can share, and what are you looking for, and how can we connect with you?
Thank you so much, Kym. First of all, during this entrepreneurial journey, for me, it's been a little over 6.5 years. I started at age 51. And during the journey, one of the things that I wanted to discover was why I do what I do. This is your why. Why do you do what you do? And I kept on like noodling at this and trying to figure out, what is it? Why am I doing all these things? And it's because I myself, this book is indicative of it, is going from that invisibility to that invincibility. Is I took myself from a person who is invisible to a person who feels invincible, through the help of a coach, right? I had coaches. So why do I do what I do? Well, first of all, my mission is to empower 5 million women to find their voice, to use their voice, and then to amplify their voice. And so I do these through my collaboration books. This is the main thing I do, but then also is coaching them through those points of like wanting to move from that invisible to invincible. How are we going to do that? Then we share them, in the books and get them speaking gigs, all kinds of different ways to share their voice with the world, and then to amplify them through the marketing materials that we create and everything around that. And I do this because I found that when I stepped into that space of invincibility, this is where I started really living my life. And not only just living my life, but living my life on purpose instead of on accident, which I lived the first 51 years on accident. So I want to help other women to do the same thing, is to live their life on purpose. And lastly, I truly believe that when we discover our purpose, that it is our job and duty to live on purpose every day, going that day forward. Oh, they can find me at womenactiontakers.com and Lynda with a Y, Lynda at womenactiontakers.com. And I'm on all the socials as Lynda Sunshine West. And no, Sunshine's not my given name. It's the name that was given to me during this journey, because I didn't show up as Sunshine before in my life, but now I do. And people told me that. And so I said, okay, I'll go ahead and adopt it and make that part of my name, Lynda Sunshine West. So looking forward to connecting with anybody out there who wants to shine their bright light out there, because when we shine our bright light, what we do is we illuminate this planet and make it a much better place.
Awesome, Lynda. Thank you so much. And so I I love sharing other people's business because you never know what someone is looking for, so that, you know, you can connect and get that information. And I know all of you have put your information in the chat. And so we'll be sure that we save all of that detail so that our listeners can get access to that. And so Lynda has talked about the book, the upcoming book. I'm super excited for this launch. Invisible no more, invincible forevermore. And just real quick, I'd like for each of you to share what is your chapter title in that book. So Mischelle, if you can unmute for us and share what is your chapter title. I'm so excited to read it and learn more about it.
My chapter is chapter 19, Hiding in Plain Sight.
Awesome. And how about you, Kristy?
My chapter is called Ghost, and it is very appropriately chapter 13.
So fantastic.
It was on accident, by the way. It's in alphabetical order. So it's just coincidental that she ended up number 13. Isn't that funny?
I love that. I think everybody can remember that one too. And so Lynda, share with us, I know this is a collaboration book. I know you and I have been in several different collaboration books with other people that have put it together, and then some that you have put together as well. But share with us how many authors are in the book, and what's the estimated launch date?
There are a total of 29 authors, and
Wow.
we're looking at the end of August. COVID has changed a lot around the world, of course, and publishing industry is no different. I just don't know when they're going to be printed. And so I have an estimation, which is the end of August of 2021. Really looking forward to get these stories out there. We are also creating videos for the authors of the books. And it's so amazing because when I see these videos, I cry, like tears just start welling up in my eyes, because to think that people actually went through these different lives, and where they are today, to go from that childhood, whatever, put you into that place of feeling invisible to doing what they're doing today. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm looking forward to people reading this book and being inspired to move into your own place of invincibility, because really that's where you are serving your best and highest purpose, is to be in that place of invincibility. Invisible, it doesn't work for the planet. We need to move you into that invincible space.
Fantastic. And then Lynda, is there a link where our listeners can get more information about the book, the pre-order and the launch?
Yes, Invincible Forevermore is the .com. Just go to invincibleforevermore.com. We have pre-orders that you can order now until the book actually launches. And then if you're watching this after the launch date, still the same link, and you can purchase the book there. It will no longer be a pre-order because it'll be out there. And oh my God, I'm so excited. This is just an amazing, amazing book.
Oh, so excited. Congratulations. I am so excited. I can't wait to read every single chapter, because who doesn't want a great book about these dreamers, creators, these super powerful people that have truly shifted themselves and their business from invisible to invincible. So I thank you all so much for joining us today. I thank Lynda for making the introduction. I know that we are going to stay connected, and I'm looking so forward to watching your journey unfold. And so for those of you that have joined us today, again, I have contact information for our powerful, powerful, powerful guests today. So if you're looking to connect with them, feel free to reach out to me. My website is Kym with a Y. So it's KYM, glass like a drinking glass.com. I have a contact tab up there. My email is Kym, KYM, at KymGlass.com. I want to help get you connected to these powerful speakers. I'm so blessed that they were with us today. And for those of you, I know some of you have asked about, how do I shift my networking? Again, I do this at every show. I offer a 30-minute complimentary consultation to help you move your networking from being a question mark to an exclamation mark and take your business and voice from whisper to roar. Again, you can connect with me on my website or my email address. And I thank you all for joining us. I hope that you gathered some nuggets of valuable information to help you when you're out there networking to take your business and voice from a whisper to roar. Again, thank you all for joining us and our special guest today. One more time for Mischelle and Kristy and Lynda Sunshine West. I can't wait to see you all again, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and look so forward to connecting further. Thank you, guys.